Growing up, my family, we didn't have a lot of money. We moved around a lot from home to home because we couldn't always afford the rent. I remember as a teenager, I had to go corn farming one summer. We woke up every single day at 4 a.m. And we didn't get back home till 9 p.m. As soon as I got my check, all of the money went towards bills and debts, and no matter how hard I worked, it seemed impossible to live in comfort. That's what happens when you're poor. Money seems to disappear right before your eyes all of the time. I got very tan that summer, almost 4 shades darker. I was really embarrassed to go back to school because I knew that once the other kids saw my dark skin, my sunburnt face, my calloused hands, that they would know. This is what it looks like to be a poor person. And I promised myself that no matter what happened in my life, I would work hard in school, I would get good grades, I would make sure that I didn't end up poor. I couldn't wait to grow up. I couldn't wait to have a job and a career. I would spend my days imagining all the things that I could do for my parents. I would buy them a new house so that we wouldn't have to worry about moving again. I would pay off all my parents' debts and bills, and they'd never have to work a day in their life. So I worked extremely hard in school. I was a straight A student. I was on the A honor roll. I was always in the top ranks. And I truly believed that I was on the right track to change my destiny. During my sophomore year in high school, when we were voting for student council members, there were 2 white boys sitting across from me. One boy was, crossing names out of the list, and his friend looks at him, saying, "What are you doing?" He looks at his friend, and he laughs, and he says, "Oh, I'm just crossing out all the Asian names." They both looked at each other, and they laughed, and they laughed, and they looked at me, and they laughed even harder. Suddenly, everything in my world went mute, except for the horrifying sound of their laughter. Their laughter felt like a hot iron, branding those words into my mind. My whole body shook with rage and a terrifying adrenaline rush to fight back. But underneath my angry surface, there was an overwhelming sadness. I could feel my throat quiver as my mind frantically searched for the right words to say to stick up for myself. I stumbled over useless words and clumsy sentences. I felt like exploding. But the only thing that came out of my mouth was emptiness. The hollow emptiness of knowing that I didn't belong here. I was so distraught. I cannot believe that over 10 years of having a formal education, I've never once learned how to stand up for myself, how to stand up to racism, how to speak out against injustices and discrimination. I never learned how to love my identities that I carry with me. Deep down inside, I think I understood where those boys were coming from. Because over 10 years of a formal education, I've never seen one positive Asian role model in those textbooks. This moment changed my life forever. I realized that having good grades and being extremely smart or hardworking meant nothing. As an Asian American, as a person of color, as a woman, as a person who comes from a low-income family, I had to work 10 times harder than anyone else. All of my ambitions, my passions, and my voice were drowned out by all of these identities. Every identity came with a different barrier, and my goals suddenly seemed insignificant. From this moment on, my purpose in life became clearer. I no longer just wanted a high-paying job, but I wanted a job with meaning and purpose. I wanted to go into education reform. I wanted to go into jobs that would help dismantle the juvenile detention system. I want to work with youth, and I want to talk about racism, and I want to talk about the importance of loving your own identities. If you want to make a difference, then the next time that you see someone being cruel to another human being, take it personally. Take it personally because it is personal.